Hi, I'm Joe Gerdes, and this is Coffee in the Capitol. Our guest today is State Representative Matt Bradford, representing the 70th Legislative District in Montgomery County, and is the Democratic Chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, and most importantly, a resident of Worcester Township. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Representative, many of our members know you from your work as a legislator over the past decade, particularly your role as a Democratic chair of the powerful Appropriations Committee. But what they may not know is that you're no stranger to local government. You have been a municipal solicitor representing many different communities in Pennsylvania, and you were also appointed during the Rendell administration as a municipal administrator and CEO of Norristown Borough. So you're no stranger to local government.
Well, obviously, with a state as diverse as Pennsylvania, it is, local government, it means many different things in many parts of our great commonwealth. But one of the things, for my own point, and I think for a lot of electeds in the legislature, many of who served in local government, is really an appreciation. It is a difficult job. People forget that so many decisions in our form of government are made at that local level. You guys don't necessarily have the ability as legislators to do newsletters and to communicate that way.
Sure.
So you guys get stopped in the grocery store, you guys get stopped on the street, and it's not an easy job, but it's one that I think a lot of legislators, having had that experience, are appreciative for the job you guys do.
And how do you, Representative, how do you interact with your local governments? You've got boroughs and townships. How do you interact with them, and do you find it helpful to hear from those local leaders?
I find it unbelievably helpful, and I'll tell you, I go kind of out of my way, I hope, to meet them for coffee, for breakfast, to catch up, regardless of party, regardless of whether it's the community
Sure.
I live or the outlying parts of my district, or frankly throughout the Commonwealth. Hearing their perspective, the problems they deal with, everything from, issues of the right to know law to
Sure.
Municipal planning to tax issues to school funding. So many of those issues they're at the forefront of. And literally, probably not a week or two goes by that I'm not meeting with one of my elected officials.
Mr. Chairman, you recently completed the 22-23 Pennsylvania state budget. How do you as a leader, how do you accomplish that, sewing together a budget?
So I think part of it is listening to all of your caucus, but also hearing from the entire body. Obviously, as a Democrat, we have a lot of members predominantly in cities and third-class cities,
Sure.
and now in many of the southeastern suburbs. But we have members in the southwest corner of the state and the northeast corner of the state. Challenges are very different. We have areas when you talk about issues of taxation and school funding. A lot of growth areas so that feel like their schools are underfunded. They have huge population increases, and trying to thread that needle, not just by party, but also by region and by the many caucuses, the four caucuses. There's no science to it. It's an art, but again, it's that team collaboration. It's listening to all folks involved and hearing how any one solution, whether it's school funding or one of the myriad of issues that we tackled in this budget, how it plays out in every corner of this Commonwealth.
Yeah, it really is an amazing process, and how both sides of the aisle work together with the governor to try and come to a document at the end, which never really makes everybody happy completely, but in the end gets the state moving and rolling. Representative, what are some of the opportunities that you see ahead for not only local governments but for the state?
I think one of the big ones is, whether it's UPMC in the West or our great higher education and medical facilities in the Southeast and frankly, all in between. I think we educate so much of the workforce and frankly, the high earners of the future. They come through Pennsylvania.
Yes, they do.
Many of them come from Pennsylvania, but not enough of them stay in Pennsylvania. So I think the challenge is frankly harnessing that. Getting these folks to stay here in Pennsylvania, to raise their family here, and God willing to pay their taxes here in Pennsylvania. That is a pro-growth agenda that I think we're missing. That I think is both a challenge and an opportunity. that is something that we could change dramatically here in the Commonwealth if we harness that. I just think we're missing that right now, and I think that needs to be part of the discussion going forward.
Well, Mr. Chairman, that's all the time we have today for Coffee in the Capitol. I want to thank you again for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me, and thanks for the work everyone out there does.
And remember, if you like what you're seeing, email tvn@psats.org. Subscribe to PSATS YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, and follow our social media pages. We'll see you back next week for the next episode of TVN.